Well, hi, I'm Roger Zimmerman. Many of you already know me. This is going to be such a cool class. Wireless security. Fun stuff. All right, let's get into the syllabus in this video. Syllabus CIS 189. Let's open that guy up. I want to call out some highlights in the syllabus just to kind of get you oriented to the class. One of the things I want to point out is this phone number. This is my office number, and as many of you know, all of you probably know, we're in the midst of kind of a school shutdown and coronavirus scare. I'm not in my office to hear that phone right away all the time, and so it is really not the best way to contact me. I'll try to check periodically, like once a day or so, to see if there are any messages, but it's really not the fastest or best way to get a hold of me. I typically will not be in the office this quarter because, again, because of this whole social distancing thing. Office hours, well, again, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I'm not really there necessarily all the time right now, and so by appointment. Typically, when in an online class, the only way we can meet when we can't be at the campus is through Zoom or just a phone call or something like that. So just shoot me an email, let me know if you need to meet with me personally about something, and I'll do my best. Best way to contact your instructor. The way I prefer and the way that is fastest and best for you is through the Brightspace class list menu selection. And I'll show you what I mean by that exactly. Let's go to the home page of our class. And if you go over here to the class list, and we'll have to wait for a moment for it to open up, and then we'll go down to the bottom of it because I'm a Zimmerman and, you know, last name starts with Z. I'm always at the bottom. So just click my name, Roger Zimmerman, and you'll see that it opens up, well, hopefully here in a moment, you'll see, there we go. It opens up a place for you to email me. Now, the reason I like this so much is this. This subject line tells me exactly what class and section you're from. Remember, I run 4 different classes at a time. And so without this information, you just give me a name, it's hard. I have to look up, well, this person is in this class. I don't have a master list of who is in what class. So I have to go class by class and say, let's see, do I remember if this person is in this class or this class? And it takes a long time. But with this, it automatically tags it, and I know exactly which class you're talking about or you need help in or you have a question about. So if you're questioning, say, something about your grade or something, I know exactly where to go. So please use this system here in order to message me. If you want to talk to other students, we do have a place in the discussions. So if we click here on discussions, right at the top will be, well, let me see, I'm in the wrong view here. I want the view as a student. So I'm going to click discussions as a student. There we go. And you'll see right here at the top, student Q&A. This is a place where you can ask other students for help. Say you're having trouble with a lab and other students have already accomplished the lab. They can help you here. You just write in here and you can talk to each other. Remember, this is not the place to ask questions of me. If you want to ask me questions, please use that class list thing that we were talking about here in order to do that, not the discussion forum here. I don't always monitor this discussion forum. All right, back to our syllabus. Again, response from instructor, you need to include relevant information in your subject line. Yeah, we've talked about that. These are some of the wireless outcomes that we want to have in the course. And now, this is going to be integrated into the list of topics that I will talk about in just a little bit. So hang on to these and we'll come back to them. Instructional approach, again, this is an all online course. Let's talk about participation. Participation here is in the form of discussion forums. So let's go back here to the discussion. You'll see that each week we have a discussion on a different topic. And in order to gain participation points, you have to do 2 things. Number 1, you have to make an initial post. And by the way, that post should be something substantive, something that actually moves the discussion forward. And then you'll have to reply to at least 1 other student. And again, when you reply to 1 other student, it needs to have some content. Don't just do what I call me too or I agree type of responses, like Yeah, that's the worst. I had that happen to me too. Okay, that doesn't move the discussion forward. Tell us a story. Ask questions. Add something new that we haven't heard before. I'd like to see 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences at least. I'd like to see a nice paragraph in your responses, in your replies, as well as in your initial post. Don't give me single sentence replies. You may lose some points for doing that. One other thing I want to mention here is failing to participate in more than 50% of the discussions will result in an automatic fail of the course. If you can't get to 5 discussion forums and participate in them, then that's pretty sad. You need to be participating in the course to make a good showing. Otherwise, it's just like on an on-ground class, a face-to-face class, not coming to half of the classes. Just not acceptable because it doesn't show commitment into the topic. Textbook, here's our textbook, guide to, let's see if you can see that there. There we go. Guide to network security. Now, this is not specifically a wireless security textbook, but we will be putting a wireless spin on many of the topics. No special hardware, although I will be asking you to install certain kinds of hardware as we go along. One of the difficulties with an an online course is that I can't always be sure that every student has capability to do every kind of lab. And so I'm going to have to either give some lab options or make sure that the labs are something that you can do. But many times you'll be asked to download certain kinds of software. So we do want the Windows operating system. Please make a special note here that this class requires a Microsoft Windows operating system, not Apple, not Linux, Windows, because some of the software that I will have you install will be on your Windows operating system. So if you tell me in a lab that you can't do the lab because you're using Apple, I will tell you that that was straight up front a requirement for this course that you're using Windows. Microsoft Word or some other Office type application, even Google Docs for uploading documents, and then browsers, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and so on. I've already talked about discussions, so I won't repeat that. Every week you'll be having either a lab or an assignment or both. Every week you'll have a quiz. We'll have 2 exams, a midterm and a final. And then we will have a writing project, a research project that you'll do, and we'll talk about that more later on. Let's talk about late work. The class is divided into 2 halves. May 3rd is the last day of the week, the Sunday midnight. Everything's due Sunday midnight in my classes. And May 3rd is that last Sunday midnight, halfway through the class, at which point all late work for the first half of the term must be turned in. That is a drop-dead date. So if you don't make that date, then you cannot turn anything in from weeks 1 through 5. Same thing is true for the second half. June 7th is the cutoff date for all final work, including late work, for the second half of the class. There is a penalty if those are late. Every Sunday night, the previous week's work is due. If it's past that and you end up going to May 3rd, June 7th, and turning in late work, then there is a penalty for that late work. I want to keep you on track. I have discovered over the past that students who save everything and turn it all in at the end really have not learned the material. Here's the point system that we're looking at, pretty standard fare, and then letter grades, pretty standard fare, A, B, C, D, and F based on 60, 70, 80, 90%. All right, the rest of this is pretty standard stuff that's in every syllabus, so I'm not going to go over it bit by bit. However, here is our class schedule. In the first week, we're going to talk about just a bunch of security concepts, because this class does not assume that you've had a security class before. It doesn't necessarily assume that everybody has had networking classes, so we'll deal with that in the second week. And then we'll start dealing with more specific stuff. Cryptography, firewalls, VPNs and so on, intrusion detection. Now you'll notice that a lot of these firewalls, VPNs, intrusion detection are not necessarily wireless topics. Right? These can be wired or wireless. We will put a wireless spin on them for this class, however. So we will concentrate more on wireless versions of these things. And then we'll get down to some specific wireless technologies, wireless network security, Bluetooth, and so on. It will end up talking about vulnerability assessments and then regulations and ethics. So it's going to be a fun class. I am really going to enjoy this class. All right, that's it for our syllabus, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.